today's topic will be about dividing a polynomial by a binomial. So we're going to do an exercise that I love because it shows like basically everything you need to understand this topic, and it is more exactly page 525, exercise 40. And what I love about this exercise is that, first of all, it is a polynomial. It is a polynomial being divided by a binomial, which is the biggest type of division we are studying right now, and that it has remainders. And something very interesting happens with remainders that I'm gonna explain. Okay, so this exercise says a squared plus 5a plus 10. So we put that in brackets and divided by a plus 2. A plus 2. Okay, this is the exercise we're gonna do today. So the first step here is to convert it into a long division. A long division is this type of division where here is the first number, outside the second number, and here we have our answer or quotient. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to put a squared over here outside the box, a plus 2, and we put this number inside the house. I'm gonna call it house. Okay, so we put this first number inside the house. So we say a squared plus 5a plus 10. Okay, that is our exercise. Now that we have done it in this way, we can now progress with the second part of our exercise. So there are 4 basic steps in long division. The first one is divide. Okay, divide. The second one is multiply, and the third one is subtract. And the fourth one is pull down, but we will see that later. Okay, so our first step, we have division. Okay, so we have to divide this first number, this first term, by this first term. Why the first term? I don't know, just it's the first term, don't complicate yourself. Okay, so we rewrite it as a fraction, and we say a squared divided by a. Okay, so we have this, and as we know, a squared divided by a is just a. Okay, so we have a up there. Now there's something that you need to understand when organizing the fraction. Okay, is that there are some boundaries when you write. So there's a boundary here and here in this case. So here go the variables raised to the power of 2, raised to the power of 1. They're kind of like like terms, so you need to kind of like understand the topic of like terms to be able to organize the exercise properly. Okay, and it's also easier because you don't, it's kind of like a way to not confuse it. Yeah, okay, so now that we have the a, we have to do our second step, which is multiply. Now we multiply this variable up here by the a and by the 2, so it's gonna work kind of like a distribution. Okay, so a times a is a squared, so we put it down here, a squared, and a times 2 is 2a, so we put plus, because of the plus sign here, 2a. Now, what we are going to do with this bottom equation is that we will flip it. What does it mean to flip it? To convert it, to turn these numbers into their opposite. So if it's a negative number into a positive number, and a positive number into a negative number. So what I do is that I put it inside parentheses and I put a minus sign. That's it, just a minus sign. Well, you can report down here, make it easier to understand and look more like a long division. So a squared minus a squared is gonna cancel each other out, right? Because, well, and something that always happens when dividing a polynomial by a binomial is that this first term will always cancel because it will always be the same. The second term is the one that remains and that we have to change, okay? So, based on this first step, on this first subtraction, this is 0, right? Because a squared minus a squared is 0, right? So now we get 0 over here, so you just leave it in blank, there's no need to write a 0. And we do this, 5a plus 2a, but remember that this flips. So what we're going to do is 5a minus 2a, so it becomes 3a. Why? Because this turns into subtraction because of this sign. Okay? Now, our second and our final step is to pull down. Pull down means take the next term in the polynomial that we didn't include in this first and put it down. So we say here plus 10, so plus 10, and we have our new term. So, what we are going to do now is repeat these same steps. Oh my god, I forgot to say this step is over here. So, now what we do is that we repeat these steps, right? We repeat them step by step. So, I'm gonna do this quickly because I already explained this here. So we say 3a divided by our first step, a, because it's the first term here. So 3a and a cancels out, so it's equal to 3. And since it's not negative, over here, plus 3. A plus 3 over there. Okay? Now, after we divide, we have to multiply. So we say 3 times a is 3a. And 3 times 2 is 6. And since this is positive, we put a plus sign. Okay. Now, what we do is that we flip this. This cancels out. And now we have 10 plus 6, but because it's now flipped, it's now 10 minus 6. Okay, I have to clean that later. 10 minus 6. So 10 minus 6 is 4. We have 4. Now, we would say that our answer is a3, right? A plus 3 with a remainder of 4, right? But this is not like, if we write it remainder 4, it's not the how do you say it? It's not the best way to represent it. So what you're going to do is that you're going to take this remainder over here and put it as a fraction. Why as a fraction? Because what we're doing here is that we are dividing 4 by this over here, by a plus 2. So we are going to rewrite it as 4 divided by a plus 2. And it's that simple. And now we can put this over here, which gives us a final answer to this exercise of a plus 3 plus 4 divided by a plus 2. There's no need to put parentheses here. So remember that when you're doing this type of problems, you have to follow these 4 steps: divide, multiply, subtract, and pull down. Those are our 4 steps that you must follow. And yeah, that was dividing a polynomial by a binomial, and I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, remember to write me on Teams, on Discord, write me a mail, or even leave a comment down below. Remember to like the video if it was useful for you, and subscribe for more videos like this about math, science, social studies, all the topics that you suggest me. So yeah, that was it for today, and see you next time.